Hello and welcome to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we are diving back into that Jank tank, everybody's favorite. And we are playing with a mono red Sarkhan's Unsealing Inferno Hellion deck. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I hope you'll find out soon as we jump into our first game against everybody's least favorite, Teferi, the villain of Dominaria, no matter what his title says. And here is Inferno Hellion. At the beginning of each end step, if it attacked or blocked, you have to shuffle it into your owner's library. It is a 7/3 trample for 4 mana. Sarkhan's Unsealing makes this do outrageous things. We don't have an Unsealing in this hand, and this deck relies on it heavily, but we will keep the hand since it has a lot of what we need. I've got to give out the credit right at the top. Let's give credit to Erasmus, a person who jumped into my Twitch channel and joined my Discord and uploaded some interesting little brews, and this was one of them. I was very skeptical, as to me it seems like a very blunt object, a perfect candidate for Jank Tank, a very Timmy build. However, I've been pleasantly surprised by just how much damage, how much pain this deck can inflict. So I had to make a video of it right away before the world caught on to the sheer power of a Sarkhan's Unsealing Inferno Hellion deck. We also have Lathnu Hellion, so we got a little bit going on for Lathnu as well. Opponent's gonna read that Unsealing. Let's do so ourselves. Whenever you cast a creature spell, power 4, 5, or 6, you get 4 damage to any target. You, hell, you if I cared. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, 4 damage to each opponent, that's you, and each creature and planeswalker they control, that's all you. Yeah, no blocks. So what we do is we build around that concept, and then we put a bunch of goblins around it to play things ahead of schedule. Wily Goblin, Skirk Prospector, making sure that we're casting that stuff early. So here's what we're saying. Play this, blow up the board. Play this, blow up the board. Now, do we need to blow up the board this turn, or should we wait a turn? I think that what I would like to do is I can play the other Prospector and play the Hellion and attack. My opponent won't block. I can go all face, take them down to 11. Then when I play this next turn, we deal 4 to everything, wipe the whole board, and then deal another 5. And that's lethal, I believe. Or 11, 7, 9, yeah. If our opponent doesn't block here, which I don't think they will. But we're going to go face is the place. Combat, all attack. If he blocks the goblin, that's fine. It helps ensure that lethalness, which is kind of what I'm going for here. He's like, that was a stupid attack, I get a free block. But secretly, we're just making sure that he doesn't want to block that Hellion. So that is a neat trick. Psychology-wise, everybody would rather take the free 1/1 than absorb 4 damage. And I do mean, like, everybody who doesn't think deeper than the most intuitive play. The intuitive play for a blocker there will always be to block the 1/1. So if you need to get your 4/4 through, that's unfortunate. If that sets you up for lethal, like we were trying to do in this case, attacking with both can be a very good play. Unfortunately, our opponent with the removal spell, but their board is still going to suffer. No regrets. Not to mention Wily Goblin. What was that ever going to do? Alrighty. Glorybringer off the top is excellent as well. Probably won't even need it. Where'd your creatures go? What happened? Where'd they go? They were here. Now they're all gone. Inferno Hellion doing hellacious things to the board. Opponent at 6 life. Dead to this Glorybringer. Close to dead to just about anything else that we draw. I think that a lot of the strength of the deck, while the Sarkhan's Unsealing shenanigans are beautiful, absolutely beautiful in their way, I think that a lot of the strength for the deck comes from the fact that you're just playing with big, powerful creatures and ramping them out. And as long as you are doing that, sometimes the opponent just can't answer all the damage and all the threats that you're presenting. The deck, as we'll get to in the list here in a moment, is basically Sarkhan's Unsealing and monsters. The end. The curve is atrocious. It looks like an abomination of Magic the Gathering, and yet some decks, plenty of decks, just have trouble dealing with big, quick monsters. So let's do it. Here's what's up. The Unsealed Hellion, 4 Skirk Prospectors and 4 Wily Goblins accelerate the mana so that you're playing the monsters ahead of schedule. 4 Bloodrage Brawlers activate the Unsealing for only 2 mana. There isn't a, like, synergy of what to discard for the most part aside from this Heart-Piercer Manticore. So don't worry about that too much. Just discard the least relevant card and trigger your Unsealing or get huge beats going. 2 copies of Thud. Just think about it. You know, sometimes you just need to do 7 more damage to somebody, right? They kind of make up for the lack of Heart-Piercer Manticore. So this requires rare wild cards that I didn't really want to cash in, as I'm kind of tight on rare wild cards right now. So I don't really want to cash in for Heart-Piercer Manticore. I don't think it goes in other decks, so I've got some copies of Thud instead. The original builder had 4 of these. Anyway, 2 Lathnu Hellions. The original builder also had 4 of these. I did think that the strategy of running all cards that only interact with Sarkhan's Unsealing was a bit too narrow. I added the Wily Goblins for that reason. I have the Thuds for that reason. But we've got 2 Hellions, 1 Hazoret. You don't want to draw multiples of these, and it's actually not easy to empty your hand with this deck because the curve is so expensive. So I think that you want to make sure that you never draw too many. The Heart-Piercer Manticore, which does very good work. 4 copies of Inferno Hellion to wrath that board. 4 Rekindling Phoenix, 4 Sarkhan's Unsealing as the core of the deck, 3 Demanding Dragons, and 3 Glorybringers. Alright, we got some Sunscorched Deserts to up the damage count, and 20 Mountains. Let's go get some more. The plan of Sarkhan's Unsealing and then blow up all your stuff is awesome, and one of the reasons that the deck has so much power. But the other reason the deck has a lot of power is sometimes turn 3 Demanding Dragon or Glorybringer is just good enough. The opponent's like, well, I don't play a lot to deal with that. Green, for example, what do they do about that? About a Glorybringer exerting on their Steel Leaf Champion on turn 3. It's very tough for them to get what they need to play their Galta and things of that nature when they're already staring down Glorybringer. Now, hopefully we can do that here. Our opponent's led on a Llanowar Elf, so we're in real trouble. But we do have the makeup for the Glorybringer I was talking about. It's like asking you shall receive. We'll see how it goes. There might be other plays we'd rather make. So Wily Goblin to the battlefield. Could have played a Bloodrage Brawler there, but I think holding it is just fine. All of our hand right now is useful, except for possibly the exception of this second Wily Goblin. But I still like having the Glorybringer next turn option, which is, yeah, this Wily Goblin possibly might have to go. Also, I don't have the turn 3 Glorybringer. I thought one of these was Skirk Prospector. You need one of them to be a Prospector. It has to be Prospector, Goblin, Glorybringer. Uh-oh. The deck is going wide, my friends. No blocks at this time. The Heart-Piercer Manticore. Yeah, we may need that. How do we want to handle this turn? I definitely want Glorybringer for next turn. Which means maybe we do discard Heart-Piercer Manticore to have a Bloodrage Brawler here. Alright, let's head upstairs. Our opponent on a pretty quick draw, us on not the quickest. We'll see what happens. Maybe this other Wily Goblin is the actual discard. Yeah, I think it is. I don't know when we're going to play it, actually. Now let's see how much more the opponent can add to their already terrifying board. Actually, if they play something like a kicked Sapperling Migration, that's, I think, where we just might have to scoop them up. This one might be beyond us. Okay, that's something I can kill. We needed something I can kill. Still, the Spore Crowns are going to do a number. Accelerated Glorybringer may not be good enough here on the draw this time. Not quite good enough. But I'm not dead yet. Remember, all these have trample and indestructible this turn, so blocking them isn't any good. So we have to take a huge hit and try to recover in our future turns. So we have to block over here, no other blocks, and go to 4. Hope our opponent doesn't have some crazy pump action. Another song. Okay, so we have a few turns to get this whole mess of a game straightened out. There's a Hellion. We need to draw an Unsealing next turn. Well, we could play the Hellion now, but it can't really block much. I mean, if it does, it's just trading, and it's a very sad situation. The Phoenix, though, I can get him for 8 next turn. Part of me wonders if I attack with this Brawler and hope that the opponent... Well, I can't really do that either. I have to play very defensively. I think the play is the Phoenix, as it can trade without losing board position here. Our opponent may have a play, which is, if they have like anything that just makes tokens like a swarm here, it's just over. They wait till their end step, and that'll do. I guess we'll wait and make sure that they attack with everything the way they're supposed to. But you know what? That's not even worth it, because most opponents do nothing but BM and spam around the cards that they have. I haven't seen very many opponents with good manners on Arena, so I'm going to move right along. In the future, I'll make a video discussing exactly what I mean by that, because I think that we're getting a lot of new players to Arena and to Magic, and I don't think Wizards, honestly, just my opinion, is doing a very good job of introducing them to the community. Communities that have been together for a while, like people who played Magic for a while, have certain expectations. So I don't think most people understand that when they're BMing, but I think I should make like kind of a public service video about it. Try to be part of the solution, right? Not the problem. All right. No Unsealing in this hand either. Obviously, an Unsealing in the last hand would have made a huge difference if, say, our Glorybringer was a Sarkhan's Unsealing instead. We'd have been blowing up the whole board. Alright, take it off the top. We got 3 mana. I guess Bloodrage, discarding Bloodrage is fine. Since playing 2 of them, I don't know. Or maybe we are supposed to discard a Phoenix. The sad thing is Bloodrage might just die to a Lightning Strike, and I don't want to give up my Phoenix. I'd rather play curve Phoenix than another Bloodrage. Alright, it's alive. So yesterday I made a mistake of attacking with my Skirk Prospector and getting it shocked, whereas at the right play, if the opponent was going to do that, would be to do it on their turn, because I wouldn't get the mana. But now, because we play against opponents who don't make right plays, I'm pretty gun-shy about it, so I'm just going to do it now. Against somebody who I knew were a good opponent, I wouldn't play it this way. I'd attack for my 1 damage first. And yep, there's the Abrade. We have to assume that was going to come anyway, although you never know. So let's see how good an accelerated Rekindling Phoenix is here against this opponent. It seemed to have some red-green, guessing some kind of mid-range, since we haven't seen a creature quite yet. And it's going to be the Fireblood. Sacrificial Fireblood, I suppose.
Let us fight! I know what I'm doing.
And we'll just take that one out.
You think you... a challenge!
Interesting sound effects, to be sure. Yep, we got dragons. There be the dragons. Fortunately, the dragons and the Phoenix line up interestingly line up very well against each other in terms of the Phoenix. I guess we'll just keep playing our lands. This is one of those no unsealing is Rekindling Phoenix good enough games. Let's cross our fingers. We have a few more turns that we got to make it work. There's a demanding dragon. I will definitely sacrifice this Prospector that isn't likely to have any impact on the game. See if the opponent... They probably want to attack with Vyrix here. They pretty much have to count on me having nothing else. Also, if I keep charging in with my Phoenix, the opponent can block, and if they have a removal spell, that might be good enough, because they can kill the token left over, but I'm going to push their life total as hard as I can. We're still at 16, and I'm going to put this token at risk, but I'm also going to give our opponent something else they have to respect, which is a 7-3 trample. And when you're on 6 life, a 7-3 trample demands an answer. The problem with the Hellion always is that 3 toughness doesn't line up well against an Abrade or a Lightning Strike. It's what really holds the Hellion back. Here's a Glorybringer. That is a decent one too, but if our opponent exerts this Glorybringer right now, what do they kill? Okay. Alright, they're at risk. We just need a good draw off the top. That's not a good draw. So if we send the Hellion, our opponent must block it. If I send the Phoenix, let's see here. So if they block with the Vyrix, they go down to 3, and they trade. And then our opponent still has a demanding dragon that's better than our Phoenix. And that's not good for us. I think I actually might just want to play Wily Goblin and pass. It does give our opponent another turn to develop their board, but I don't think we gain enough advantage on this attack step. And at least while the Hellion is here, our opponent has to hold back some creatures. Now, we do have to attack with it next turn because of the Glorybringer. We're priced into that. And a second Glorybringer would make this line very bad. Oof. That's also very bad.
Let's do this.
Ooh, going with
This'll be
mana?
easy.
What else is there? Is it another Glorybringer and a Chandra? It's a Nicole Bolas. I actually don't know about that play, but I'd almost certainly want to Chandra away the Hellion. This gives us a few good draws like Thud. So rub your hands together. Let's get that top deck. Not quite there, but it does make the Glorybringer's attack next turn difficult. And I don't think I have to. Our opponent can't take this damage. They have to sacrifice a creature, which is awkward, to say the least. All right. So now if our opponent blocks here and goes to 3, this takes them to 2. This leaves a 1-1 behind. The opponent attacking with the Glorybringer would have to exert into the Demanding Dragon. The Chandra could kill the token, but our opponent would be at 2. We'd have a Demanding Dragon on the board. The Rekindling Phoenix to be answered, they'd have to minus their Chandra. I think it's almost certain that the Bolas is going to do the blocking. If we don't attack with the Phoenix, no damage gets through from the Hellion. And if we just let our opponent untap with Chandra, they'll just shoot down the Hellion. So we want to trade. What about attacking the Chandra? Well, it also means that we need to attack with both. Now, opponent killing the token, that's pretty bad. But we get our opponent to 2, facing a dragon. They're left with a Glorybringer that can't really attack and another Demanding Dragon. But they have a Chandra, which is very, very good for them. Which means maybe we just want the Chandra to minus. And continue staring at each other. Well, that just leaves our opponent with a Chandra. So this is a really complicated situation. And when I think about what's on top of the deck, I have a lot of options. I have a lot of good draws. Probably the best thing I can do is try to keep this Phoenix, which makes my opponent's attacks awkward. If I have a Demanding Dragon and a Phoenix, the Chandra's in trouble. So I guess if I want to trade this Hellion for a creature, I should attack with it right now. And I'm going to throw it at the Chandra along... Nope, I'm going to throw it at the player along with the Wily Goblin. If they want to eat the Wily Goblin, they can't double block the Hellion. If they don't double block the Hellion, then they take some damage. So I think this is the best place to cash in the Wily Goblin for some damage. The better block is Demanding Dragon and Nicole Bolas in front of the Hellion. But at least this way we get a little chip shot with the Goblin. The opponent does take this block, so the Demanding Dragon going down is huge. It means our Demanding Dragon is going to be the best thing on the board. So that, in my opinion, is the best way that we could see blocks. Our opponent can't flip the Ravager with the Unclaimed Territory. It can only be used to cast the creature, so I'm not afraid of that.
You're going down.
Chandra shoots a mountain at my face, down to 10. So how good was the top of our opponent's deck? Well, it's a creature. It's not a lot to complain about there. But I don't think attacking's an option. And now my opponent's priced into blocking because either threat is lethal. So we're coming for you. We'll see a double chump. Chandra can minus to kill the Phoenix for good. However, we're going to have a Brawler as well. So we'll have another lethal threat, and we'll have the lethal threat in the air, which is the Demanding Dragon, which is bigger than all the other dragons were. I think the opponent losing their Demanding Dragon was a key moment in the game. So can Chandra get our opponent back into this? It's all up to you, Lady of the Flame. Our opponent can also make the 5/5, which is not great, but they would just die to, well, if they minus here and make a 5/5, they just die to the Bloodrage Brawler. All right, they're not minusing.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
And they went up top with another land off the top, and that is the scoop. That was a good game. A feisty one for sure. A proper Jank tank battle, without question. All right, into one more I think is perfectly reasonable. Everybody loves a few more games in the Jank tank. Death Samurai 89. Well, hand's great, except it's missing something. A mountain. How unfortunate. We finally found our Sarkhan's Unsealings after 2 games of absenteeism. Are you serious right now? Are you freaking serious right now? How many lands in a row would I have to draw for this hand to be good? Like 4 in a row? It's just not realistic. Found the lands. I've got to keep this game now. I've got to see how many lands in a row I can draw after having to mulligan twice due to a lack of mountains. There's only 20 in the deck, by God. 1, 2. All hail the shuffler. Hey, you're not a land. Broke up the monotony for just a minute. Where have you been all my life? Oh, the draws, my friends. Let's pierce your heart, shall we? The deck doesn't have an option but to be the beatdown. We have to play threats. If they counter this, though, I'm just going to leave. I'm not interested. Nope. Not gonna play this game. You too can leave games where you mulligan to 5 and your opponents are going to counter all your things. It's fine. You don't. It's better than sitting around complaining about, counter decks or blah, blah, blah. Just leave. Playing is an option. It's up to you. You have the power. All right. This is one of those tough hands. We have no acceleration. We have the cards we want, but we could just not draw lands. And we're on the play again, which is hella awkward when you need to draw lands. So we're going to try it. We're just hoping for 2 lands out of 3 cards. The odds are not with that, but you saw last game that the odds don't really matter when it comes to Magic. All that matters is what actually happens. Ta-da! All right, let's jam the Brawler. At least we have an early threat here. I'm going to discard the Manticore, because who knows? We may still want this Thud in our life. Manticore at least has Embalm. Oh, blue cards and white cards. Tapped as slowly as possible. Awesome. Let's see what happens next. We've got all these 4-drops, and we still haven't drawn a land. Or an accelerator. Like a Wily Goblin's fine too. Between Wily Goblin and Skirk Prospector, you're looking at 30, exactly 30, which is more than half the deck weighs, to help cast these spells. However, let's see what we actually see. Hey, we got there. It's a land. Let's go get sealed away, shall we? Oh my god. Is this what we're in for? Well, I'm glad they were very thoughtful about that moment and just let themselves get punched in the face. I'm grateful. May I pass the turn to you? Okay. We did nothing. I wonder, cycling a cast out is what that makes me think is sitting in the hand. I'd seal away that if I had one. Oh, look. The endless ability to do nothing. Gotta love it. Alright, let's go. Let's attack. Cool. The Phoenix isn't very good against blue-white. Everything they do exiles and bounces. So if you're going to play something, at least make it something that hits for 7. Thematic Compass. Fun. Not very good against... An Inferno Hellion really doesn't like a flip thematic compass, should it come to that. Yeah, I've played enough. We're not playing this. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I'm in the Jank tank. I don't need any of this. It's simply not worth getting upset over, and it's not worth spending time on. Alright, hopefully we put all the mana issues behind us as those last few games. If I did video edit, I would probably take great pleasure in hacking them out of the video. Just pretending that never happened, because those are the games where you are best served, my friends, by having a short memory. Just forget it. Forget about it. Forget the mulligans, forget the missed land drops. Forget about it. Get on into something else. All right, here we go. We got an Unsealing. We've got an Accelerator. We've got 2 lands. We just need to draw a third. That is a reasonable expectation. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it is reasonable. And that is good enough to keep the hand and go for it. You got a druid. An elf who's a druid. A druid who's an elf. All right, don't have that land yet. Let's drop this Brawler. And what am I discarding? I think I'll discard the Hazoret. Our hand is clunky and we don't have enough lands, so it would take a really long time for us to actually cast and attack with Hazoret. Against green, I don't have any reason not to jam a Brawler there. Green probably isn't going to just straight up kill it or anything, and having a board presence is going to be important, I bet. So let's see what we got here. Perhaps this is the kicker deck, which would be a shame. Although that's a decent starter deck, it's not a teched out starter deck. Still, we're in the Jank tank. We don't have to feel too bad. Alright. Let's attack first. But seriously, is our opponent going to block this? I've seen weird stuff happen. Alright, get in there, Bloodrage. I'm not going to attack with the Prospector. I'm not going to risk it. I think that there's a lot of case if you're try-harding that attacking with the Skirk Prospector there is correct. But because the opponent probably won't block, but you just can't risk it. You can't risk it. So our opponent seems to be mono-green, not the green-red deck. They could have definitely had a mountain from Grow from the Ashes if they wanted. So some kind of a greeny ramp thingy. Let's draw that land now. Let's draw that land and show opponents how we do. Watch Inferno Hellion whip. Watch it nay-nay. Watch it whip. Watch it nay. Well, I'm glad our opponent thought about that one a lot. That's a really tough play to make. Carnage Tyrant? Yes, please. Hellion's going to be a turn late to cut off the Tyrant, but it can trade with the Tyrant, which is going to make an interesting game here. I could have attacked with the Brawler first, and if my opponent had blocked, God. Well, yeah, that would have been a nice play. So if I had that one back, getting all technically sequencing correct, I would attack with the Brawler first, then I would drop the Hellion. Because if my opponent blocked with the Tyrant, I would nuke him. The Tyrant would die, because it would already have 4 damage from the Brawler. That would have been a sick play. No need to comment on it. Y'all right. You all know. Anyway, this is going to be lethal because the Carnage Tyrant is going to go down to only 2 toughness, and this has trample. So, Hellion. What you gonna do when Hellion Mania runs wild on you? Alright. Take the good games. Try to forget the bad. That's my best advice with such a blunt, straightforward deck as this. It does one thing. It does it very, very well. Enjoy the thing when you get to do it. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed today's video in the Jank tank with the Unsealed Hellion. Thanks again one more time to the deck's creator, Erasmus. You put the deck in my Discord user deck list thing. You called my attention to it. We played it. We had a good time. Now here it is, making the YouTube video. If you would like to see, if you have a sweet janky brew or a tribal deck or a second tier deck or a top tier deck, if you want to post in the Discord in user deck lists and say, it would really help if you said, you know, this is for the Jank tank, or it would really help if you said, this is for the second tier or the top tier, or this is for, you know, for Spike's Corner, or if this is for tribal times. Those are usually more obvious, but it really helps if you say exactly what you think it's for. You are welcome to. So in description, join the Discord, post in user deck lists. Even if I don't play it, you'll get plenty of other people looking at it, checking it out, and letting you know what they think. And they might play it as well and have a great time. So you kind of spread the love. Thanks so much for watching this video. It's been another glorious day in the arena. And until the next day in the arena, this is CGB, and I'll see you later.